What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Nicholas Mason coming to you with the evening legislation solely for your mental edification. And here we are again, family, round number 4. We got two awesome sisters who are leading in the industry of finance, life insurance, how to get a policy, how to establish a policy. What is life insurance? In the Black community, you don't find too many people with life insurance. You find more people in the funeral parlor than you do who have the information for it. But these sisters are here to bring you what you are missing, so you don't want to miss this. We got both of them are graduates from the Western School of Technology and Environmental Science. Both of them are cosmetology majors, so they're good with working with their hands. But now they're taking the work of their hands and they're putting it to the mouthpiece and putting it to the pen to the pad to help you save your dollar. So, ladies and gentlemen, show your love for none other than Queen Maya Hall and Queen SHARNEICE.
Hello.
If we're talking about life insurance, life insurance is something typically found in many people who are low-class families, working-class families, but it's a necessity to have because we are the people who have higher risk of receiving health complications or problems that occur in life, opposed to someone who is more financially open and fiscal. But ladies, if you want to tell everybody what exactly is life insurance?
Okay, thank you again for welcoming us to your podcast. Life insurance to me, number one, it's a tool. It's a tool to protect your family when you're gone. And then it's also a wealth building tool. So a lot of other cultures have definitely used life insurance as a tool to build their family's wealth and their businesses. And it's time we do the same thing. So that's it for me.
Now, when we talk about life insurance, if I were to say for someone who is, fresh out of college, you got a mountain full of debt, and you're just starting to work, you got your introductory level, making $40,000 a year, and you're taking care of yourself. You're young, you're fresh, you're vibrant, you got, your cells are doing good, you're still healthy. Why do I need to have a life insurance policy?
Okay, thank you again for welcoming us to your podcast. Life insurance to me, number one, it's a tool. It's a tool to protect your family when you're gone. And then it's also a wealth building tool. So a lot of other cultures have definitely used life insurance as a tool to build their family's wealth and their businesses. And it's time we do the same thing. So that's it for me.
Now, when we talk about life insurance, if I were to say for someone who is, fresh out of college, you got a mountain full of debt, and you're just starting to work, you got your introductory level, making $40,000 a year, and you're taking care of yourself. You're young, you're fresh, you're vibrant, you got, your cells are doing good, you're still healthy. Why do I need to have a life insurance policy? Especially if I'm not doing anything dangerous.
Life is not guaranteed. It can happen at any time, and then it could be a burden on your family. So you could be young, fresh out of college, no health issues, and something happens and you're gone, and then you have the college debt, which is going to be a burden on your family. Wherever you live, your bills, things like that, that's what life insurance could be used for.
Okay. So now, typically when you think about life insurance, say I'm making $40,000 a year, you're coming in, you're making between 19 to 25 an hour if you're talking about an hourly wage, you know what I mean? And you got rent that costs about $1,500 a month and then other bills. People think that life insurance is very expensive. How does life insurance actually work for someone, who has a mountain of bills already and then having to sustain a lot of the bills?
I'm glad you asked that question because that's kind of a myth, making it seem like life insurance is just so expensive. It's really not. Literally, it could be $1 or $2 a day if you really think about, say your premium might be $20 a month or $50 a month. It's not that expensive. However, I will say the younger that you are and the better health that you are in, the cheaper the cost. So that's why, we cover people ages 0 to 85. So literally when people start having babies, I'm like, let's just go ahead and get the policy when they are first pop out the mama's womb, and because that's the cheapest it's going to be for them. and we can go ahead and get it started.
So $20 a month, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, yeah. $20 a month.
Depending on what kind of coverage you get, of course.
And so if you're talking about what kind of coverage, I mean, when I don't know anything about life insurance, I mean, I know a lot about being at funerals. I've seen a lot of death growing up, but I haven't recently been the one taking on the bill. And educate us on, the different dynamics of what life insurance are, the different avenues, the different categories life insurance offers to many different people in their economic degrees.
Sorry, my tablet. Sorry, hold on. Hold on 1 second. Can y'all see me now?
Yes.
Okay, so the different types, there could be temporary coverage, well, not temporary, but term coverage. So what term coverage basically is they cover you up to a certain time. So they may say like a 20-year term or a 50-year term. However, after that term, you're no longer covered. You can also get like group coverage through your employer. However, it may be cheap, but once you leave that employer, you may not have that coverage anymore. And then once you transfer it to a whole life policy, the rate's going to jack up because you're getting a group rate versus an individual rate, which is going to impact your price.
So I want you to kind of indulge in each of those, the three that you just mentioned. Okay, so if I did like a temporary coverage, that's the first one you mentioned.
All right, wait a minute.
So again, Sharnice, if you want to, indulge a little bit more into, the different types of life insurance opportunities that are out there. You talk about temporary, you talk about root, and you talk about a full coverage policy. So can you indulge into the different qualifications or the different specifics of each of those?
Sure. So basically, there's different types of life insurance. You have your permanent coverage and you have your temporary coverage. So permanent is considered whole life, and then temporary would be like your term insurance. Usually, you mentioned younger people, term is more affordable. So a lot of younger people go with term plans because they're cheaper, but you can get more coverage. But even though they last maybe between 10 to 30 years, that's when you mainly have your biggest expenses, your home, your automobile, your college tuition, things that are big ticket items. So it's important to have big policies to cover them. If something happens to you, your family's still able to move on. And then you have your permanent coverage, which is extremely important, especially when you're trying to bury your loved ones, the final expense cost, because those plans stick with you, even past age 100. So you want to definitely make sure you have both if you can, but some coverage is better than none. So hopefully that answers your question.
No, you definitely didn't answer my question. Now, when we're talking about the coverage, if we're a young person, can you actually flip the equity or reverse the equity that you've invested into your insurance policy into things in case an emergency happens in your life? Say, you get your car gets totaled, or you lose your job, or you have damage to a new home that you purchase. How can you use life insurance if you're a young person to the best of your abilities?
Depending on what policy you have, it has a cash accumulation. So the great thing is it's tax-free dollars. So this is a plan that's personally for you. You put it in place and no one can touch it but you. And so usually after the second year, it starts to accumulate cash value. And of course, I said, depending on what policy, most whole life policies have cash value, and you're able to borrow against it whenever you need to. It doesn't matter if it's, like you said, if something happens to your home or, any emergency situation, you're able to borrow against it. Absolutely.
So say if I needed to pay off my taxes or something like that with this, is that a possibility? Because you said it's tax-free money. Is there a possibility I can use this equity that I've invested into my insurance to, cover state taxes or to cover a federal tax tab that I have, taxes that have accrued over some time?
Well, yeah, you can, like I said, you can use it for whatever. Most people don't use it like, okay, every year I need to be touching my policy, because you got to let it accumulate. You know what I mean? But it's there if needed. So you can use it for whatever purpose that you want.
That's excellent. So for those of you guys who are tuning in and you're watching right now, life insurance is like if you play blackjack, you're playing 21 and you're on the table and you're not sure if you're going to win the next round of hands is being dealt, so you put insurance on the next bet you put up there. So that insurance guarantees that you'll not only save yourself some money in the back end, but if you win, you'll double up on what you made. You already invested into. So that's a bonus for those who are checking, who are trying to get educated on investing in life insurance. And these two sisters are going to have the information posted inside the video where you can check them out. Now tell us about the next category of life insurance that you actually have offered. So you talked about temporary, and then you talked about a permanent coverage.
Mm-hmm. So group coverage, that would be like through your employer, and those typically are what my term coverage, right? I've never heard of an employer with whole life. I haven't. So it's basically you have that coverage while you're with that employer. However, once you leave that employer, your rate will go up because you're getting it at a group rate versus an individual rate. So it definitely will go up. Maya, is it 30 days you can convert it to a different policy?
I think it just depends on your employer. Every employer has different plans. So some do offer whole life. It just depends on, say if you work for the federal government, they definitely probably have plans that you can transition over after retirement. But let's just say you're working at, I don't know,
Walmart.
A dead-end job. Let's say a dead-end job.
Yeah, it just depends on what benefits your job offers. And then they will have a window of opportunity to transfer it over either after you get, you retire. Usually if you get fired, you're definitely not taking it with you.
Right.
Wow.
But if you retire, a lot of companies do offer you to transfer it. But however, at that time, the rates are going to jump sky high because you're getting a group rate versus a personal rate. So it's you should get your own personal private plan as soon as possible. Yeah, and then you can still have your policy at work,
That's awesome. So when we talk about actually getting a life insurance policy, to those who don't know, that sounds like invested to a 401k type of plan, if you would. Does that kind of relate, or is that not the same thing?
No, it's simple. It's more simpler.
Yeah.
It's a lot more simpler. So number one, we cover people from ages 0 to 85. Your life insurance rates are based off of your current age, your health, and then your affordability, how much you can afford to pay. And then also, what other things do you want to cover? Like for me, I have a daughter. So I'm thinking about if something happens to me, I need income replacement. So if whoever takes care of her, they will have that money to work with. So you got to look at your asset, how many people are in your family? Are you married? All the different dynamics in your life. And then you can calculate, okay, this is how much I want to leave behind to my family if something happens to me to take care of everything moving forward.
That is awesome. So life insurance, you're teaching me right now. This is bread to me right now. This is like bread and wine because I didn't know anything about life insurance. As much as I talk and I do my podcast and I be having a lot of information, you tend to don't know about the little things that help you go a long way. And this has definitely helped me go a long way. Now, when we talk about the group, when we get the group, for those of you that didn't understand it, I didn't know, I was just processing it all. So I'm going to be like being a student. I got my pen and my notebook right here, so I'm taking notes right now. But the next question I wanted to ask you is how did you ladies actually getting into doing the life insurance, and what actual fields are you working in currently beyond life insurance?
Got into it through Maya. She actually introduced it to me. I work in the health insurance industry. I'm with the health insurance company. I've been with them for 4 years. Okay. And I've seen Maya, out in the field doing it. And one day I just asked her what I needed to do. And she took me under her wing.
Amen. I say.
So for me, my dad, he's the regional manager for the state of Maryland in one of the companies that I work with. And so I've literally
What's the name of it?
The company I work with is Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance Company. And so I literally grew up in the business. When we were out in the field, pre-COVID, agents would go out in the field to the clients' homes. So I remember being a little kid going into people's houses with my dad selling policies.
That's awesome.
So of course, now I'm in it. I've had my license for about 3 years now. Excellent. And it's a great opportunity. It's excellent.
That is awesome. So when we talk about actually being out here in the field, how has the life insurance business been going now that COVID's kind of in effect? And to the disadvantage, there have been people who have lost their lives, but to an advantage for this business, this is a lucrative time. You know what I mean? You can grab a lot of people up. You can get a lot of clients from this. How has that been for you ladies, with everything that's been transpiring with COVID-19?
I would say definitely in the beginning when things started hitting the fan with COVID, a lot of people were like calling in but you'd be surprised. People still don't see the importance of it. Wow. So that's why I'm glad we're able to talk about it, because a lot of times if it's not passed down to you through generation and the understanding of why it's so important, a lot of people don't know until they have a family member and then they got to go and get a GoFundMe account and pass the hat around, and it's like a devastating time. A lot of people don't get it until that happens to them.
Tell them, sister.
So we gotta keep doing what we're doing and educating people to say, hey, you don't have to wait until that time to just go ahead and get a plan in place. I think a lot of people think it's more intimidating than it is. I mean, like most of the companies we work with, it's a simple one-page application. It's not hard at all. $20. Ladies and gentlemen, $20. Y'all better hit her up right here, and you better hit her up right down there. I'm telling you right now, this is amazing. This is great information. This is great content. Now, for those of you in Baltimore right now, and this is bittersweet for me to say this, but you definitely need to hit these sisters up right here, because they're dropping information, and people in Baltimore, I mean, they dropping like flies on the wall after 3 days. It's a lot of people who are passing, and to stop this GoFundMe and to actually stop the whole idea of death, because death happens in your community due to lack of opportunity, lack of education, and lack of awareness, just period. Now, if you got to worry about the life insurance policy to your better judgment, instead of you killing someone, once you find this wealth and opportunity, you can take your family out of the disparity to grow a better life and opportunity. So, I mean, this is what I'm seeing and I'm processing just from, you telling me $20 to sign up for life insurance, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to say $20 flat. Tax and policies and insurance are included. So, but yes, this is awesome. This is awesome. So, Lincoln Heritage. How did Lincoln Heritage actually come to be established? And you say your dad's been working with it since you were knee-high to a grasshopper. How does that come into play? Lincoln Heritage. What do you know about the history of this company? So it was established in 1963 by a gentleman named Jack London. Here's my daughter. She's saying hi. Okay. All right. She is her parents. Okay. Bye. Okay. I'll call you back down when I'm done. No, seriously. Okay. And so he was an actual agent himself. Okay. So, back in the day, they called it burial insurance. They didn't even call it life insurance. And so it was just literally, to make sure you're in the ground with your burial insurance. And so he was an agent himself. And so he established the company, and now, his family owns it, and his children and the whole family. So it's a pretty awesome experience. The home office is great, great customer service. The policies are issued within 24 hours. We pretty much qualify 95 or even more % of people that ask to be a part of the policy. But I guess depending on, what state you're in, we have different regions. So Sharnice and I, we're only in Maryland, DC, Virginia, New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia.
Hold on, I got to drop
and
this.
Delaware.
So if you're in the DMV, To my brothers, part of Latino Siempre Unidos, Lambda Sigma Epsilon Latino Fraternidad Incorporada. If you're in New Jersey, you hit up these two sisters right here. If you're in the Delaware area, Patrick, I know you're watching. Christiana, I know you're watching. Check these two sisters out right here. If you're in the Southern Carolinas area, shout out to Nancy Anderson. You guys are in Georgia too, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Nancy, Amorous Tacos, Jewel Anderson, I'm calling you out. Check out these two sisters. They got something that's going to sustain you and help build generational wealth. We're talking about life insurance today, ladies and gentlemen. That's awesome that you guys are certified and licensed in all of those states. So I'm going to make sure I get these people to come your way, and I myself am going to sign up for it as well, to get something going.
Awesome.
The next question I want to ask is so say if you're starting a business. I know COVID-19 brings a lot of opportunity for the young entrepreneurs in establishing a business. And when it comes to establishing a business, it comes with having to be secure and having a safety net in the event of the unknown. How does life insurance, or just having life insurance itself, kind of tie into a starting business owner or entrepreneur out there in the field?
Well, basically, I like to look at it as we're selling money, So, okay, say if you and I go into a business together, right? Both of us are key persons in the business. So we have an overhead, we have expenses and everything like that. So I guess depending on, a business, you want it to last forever. But as far as you need life insurance just for protection. So you got to look at all the costs that go into a business. And that's why, some people go like, oh, well, I need $1 million policy. Mm-hmm. People like that, who talk like that, they most of the time have businesses that they need to protect. Yeah. So we definitely have plans for all type of people, whether you're just a family man, a working single mom, or if you're that CEO, you're that hustler, that business owner. We have plans for everybody.
Ashe. So now when we talk about, it seems like having life insurance is the definite go-to. And Lincoln Heritage is where Maya and Sharnice are both, workers and employees of this company. And the company has started off as burial insurance just to make sure you're in the ground. And now they progressed to so many different avenues. And the question, did they have all these opportunities back then when they started the company?
That's what I need to clarify. So Lincoln Heritage only does final expense. So they go up to $35,000, which is enough for your final expenses. So we work with other carriers that have the bigger policies and everything.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what are some other carriers that would, based upon the things that we just touched on, would kind of coincide with, helping me in the event of something happened? What are some of the other names of companies you work with?
I'm appointed with Mutual of Omaha, AIG, Lincoln Heritage, and Occidental.
That's awesome. Okay. And when it comes to signing up, what is the actual due process for signing up?
For a client, right?
Yeah, for a client. If they wanted to get started up with you, say today, do they have to go online? Can they just contact you? How does that process work?
Yeah, so they would need to contact our agent or contact Sharnice or I. And we would just set up a consultation over the phone. Because of COVID, of course, we're doing everything over the phone. Usually, like I said, we would be out in the field meeting with people at their kitchen table. But now we are over the phone, and the whole process is over the phone. It could probably take between 30 to 40 minutes or something like that, with everything, the whole process. And so we'll ask questions about your health, your current health conditions, and why you would need the life insurance and who you would want to protect. And then we'll assess and just come up with some numbers and see what fits your budget.
That is awesome. Now that you ladies mentioned that, I just want to give you guys kudos to say that not only are you making history, but what you're doing right now is going to, set your family up. It's going to set a lot of people who actually come to invest with this. This is going to set them up for generations to come. It's going to break the chains of a lot of, financial illiteracy. Because now, having this source of information, it can help you excel to many different heights. COVID-19 is far from over. And the things and the transitions that we're going to deal with, having that type of insurance policy in the back end and having that in your back pocket really saves you from a lot of the troubles that come our way from the day-to-day life. But just to transition from that, I want to ask you ladies, now we're in the month of Black History and we talk about Black women of excellence. Who are some women of Black excellence? Who are Black women of excellence for you two ladies?
Well, for me, I would definitely have to shout out my mom, because without her, I wouldn't be here. And then we want to shout out our Vice President, Ms. Kamala. And there's a lot of beautiful Black women out there just doing their thing. But those are the two I want to shout out.
Ashe. Who you got, Sharniece?
Of course, my mother, like she said, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here either. Gotta mention her. And then I would say, my godmother. She really inspired me to push forward, keep going. Even, when things get hard, as a Black woman, we just got to keep going.
Absolutely. Now, when you look at, Black women statistically have changed the mold of what it is to be an angry Black woman, because Black women are leading not just in finance, not just in scholastics, not just in aesthetics, you know what I mean? But they're now leading when it comes to politics. We have our first, Black vice president. She's a female. What inspires you ladies today to do what you actually do? And what could you say to any lady, any sister who's coming up right now and trying to figure out what she wants to do in life? When she's looking at this video today, what would you say? Because I'm inspired.
I would say find your purpose. What inspires you? Find your purpose and just walk in your purpose.
I say. That's mine.
Yeah, I would just say for me, my driving force is my daughter, of course. Making sure that the next generation sees that they can keep going. We all had an upbringing, and whether it was good or bad, of course mine was great, but shout out to my parents. But you just gotta kind of, like Sharniece said, find your purpose, find your why. And even if you don't know, you gotta try different things. I think that was one of my biggest things, is just trying things that you love or like to do and see if it works for you. A lot of times you don't know unless you try it. So that would be my advice, is just to keep going forward in a positive direction.
Ashe. So we're gonna take a quick break, ladies and gents who are tuning in and watching. We're gonna take a quick pause and we'll be right back in just a few moments. I'll see you soon for part number 2. We're back again, family. Here is part 2, and we're just gonna kind of consolidate everything that we went over, and then we're gonna bring the plane down. But it seems like life insurance, like Maya, you just mentioned, that it has like a negative overtone about it. Like, you typically think I only need life insurance for if I'm dying, if someone dies. But tell us a little, indulge a little bit about what you were saying before.
Yeah, I was just saying, basically, it doesn't have to be as heavy as people perceive it to be. It's just as simple as you getting car insurance or health insurance. It's just another policy, even though it's not mandated by the state for you. It's not mandatory for you to have it. However, it is definitely should be a necessity for every person. So, just think of it like any other insurance. People got insurance on their phones, so why wouldn't you have insurance on your life? This is for your family. This is for the people that you love. And there's also living benefits. So there are perks about life insurance that you'll be able to use while you're alive. So it's not always about death, dying, So I just thought that was important to just share. This is an excellent tool that a lot of communities have been using for years and years and years, and it's time for us to tap into it as well.
Ashe. Man, I just want to let everybody know, if you don't know, check these ladies out again. They have great packages, great opportunities. For $20, you can have a life insurance policy as a person as young as 26 years old. and you can be secure. You can go jump off a building and know you're gonna be taken care of. Now, I'm not saying you can go do that. I'm not saying don't go do that, but once you get, we're not advocating jumping off buildings. But what I want to be clear is that
suicide is not covered.
I wasn't saying that. I want to be clear. What I was saying is having life insurance and having it at such a young age, it really procures your future. So in the event that anything happens, you go surfing and anything, you go skydiving, you go fishing, you go running outside, you go walking outside, anything could happen. And to have that coverage, it really saves the headache and the trauma that comes with, the expenses of bills and stuff. Because bills is enough. Don't y'all know about them now?
Mm-hmm.
$85,000 in student loans. Somebody help me. Somebody call.
Oh boy.
That ain't no joke. Somebody call somebody. But the next question I want to ask is, you ladies, you didn't start off with life insurance as, your passion and your drive. You two found yourselves, in the School of Cosmetology at Western Tech, alma mater. Tell us about that and where did you decide to transition from, cosmetology into what you're doing now?
Like you said, I did do cosmetology. I did not get my license. It wasn't something that I wanted to do full time. I didn't want to stand on my feet constantly. And I've always knew about health insurance even before getting into the profession. And then once I got into it, that just led me into life insurance because it's like I already had the background knowledge on insurance, what's the purpose, things like that. And I just went from health insurance into life insurance. So now I do both of them.
That is excellent. Now,
okay, yeah. For me, I still am in the field of cosmetology, so I did get my license straight out of Western Tech, and I have aspirations to own my own shops and everything. But I wanna build a strong foundation. Life insurance, selling life insurance, it gives you the opportunity to build residual income, and so those words float around, but when you see that hitting your account every month, it becomes that much more real. And so building that is important for me because it's almost like me creating my own, paycheck. Because a lot of people that work 9-to-5 jobs, they get their paycheck every week or every other week or every month. But I'm basically creating my own paycheck in addition to getting that upfront commission and everything like that. So, but I definitely want to continue in the cosmetology field. That's one of my passions. Listen, we're mompreneurs. That's what I call myself.
Mompreneurs.
And we can do whatever we want to do. There's no limitations on, just because we're in this field doesn't mean we can't tap into other stuff. We're creative beings and so this is just going to give us a strong foundation, financially to help our families.
Ashe. So, the question I wanted to ask is, first of all, that is phenomenal. What both of you ladies are doing, you're in health insurance. So, Sharnice, I wanted to ask you first, if someone wanted to get into health insurance, can they come to you for, get any information to get started? Can they, fill out information with you, or is that something, of a different channel?
Yeah, so I am on the customer service side with a insurance company. I'm not a health insurance broker, so they would have to go through a broker. However, I do know, the basics of how insurance works, co-pays, deductibles, things like that.
Absolutely.
But I don't write health insurance. I work with, I'm on the customer service side.
Well, you still bossed up on the life insurance, you know what I'm saying? You still fly on that one. So now let me ask you this question. We're talking about, pretty much we're selling now, but say if I wanted to be someone to buy in and actually become an agent to sell life insurance, how could I get that going?
Mm-hmm. So basically we have webinars that people can tend to, free webinars that you can tap into throughout the week, just so you can get a close eye view as to what, how the business works, how your commission will work and everything. Awesome. I would always recommend that first, just because you want to see exactly how everything works. And then once you say, okay, this is really something I want to do, then you can take an online course so that you can study for your exam. So you'll have a state exam, depending on what state you live in.
Okay.
And then you would go and take your state exam, pass with I think a 70%, and then you would get your license, and then you can get appointed with whatever company you want to work with.
Now, is this license guaranteed for a lifetime, or do I have to renew it every once in a while?
Yeah, so you do have to renew it. You do have to renew it, just like any other license. For my hair license, I got to renew that every 2 years. But all they want, it's a little fee, and you keep it
tell
going.
us that. Tell us the breakdown, because I want to get out as much information as possible. Again, you're breaking bread and wine to me today, so you're teaching me something.
Yeah, so basically, there's just, there is a continuing education course every 2 years that you do have to do. That is a little different from my cosmetology license. They don't have that yet. But with life insurance, the rules and regulations for each state are different, and different things change throughout the year, throughout, time. And so they want to make sure that you stay abreast on what's going on at that current time. And so you do have to take continuing education courses. But I mean, everything can be completed online. It's not like going back to college,
Check this out. Check this out. To those of you who are in high school right now, those of you who are in middle school, you don't necessarily know how you want to make that first meal before 25, or how you're going to make that come up once you get out of high school to make that business happen, take care of mine, Dukes, whoever. To get out your situation, take heed to the wisdom that is being dispensed today, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we go to college. College is the trick of the double-headed coin. You're never going to hit tails. You're always going to get hit in the head. You know what I'm saying? And you get hit over the head with a big check at the end that your ass can't cash. So that's the reality of college. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it real with you. I mean, I'm a proud graduate, summa cum laude of Johnson Wells University, the North Miami campus. But when I look at them student loans, and they ain't calling right now, but if they calling, I know that now I want to take on, something where I can get my certification in life insurance and build another stream of income, as well as build some coverage for my future and for my family to be. So that is awesome. But ladies, now that we've reached such a great threshold, we got a whole jam-packed session full of information today. Let's take it out of the classroom. Let's get some potpourri questions in here. Okay?
All right.
All right. Sharnice, I'm going to start with you. Okay? And I want you to answer these questions to the best of your abilities. All right. Here we go. Hot or cold?
Cold.
Red or blue?
Blue.
If you could have any superpower, and I mean any superpower in the world, what would it be?
Well, you can teleport to places real fast, and I have to drive. Just teleport.
You better not. Yeah. Shaggy couldn't make it, wasn't me. Donnie's, I see your ass. I see. Okay. What is something you could do every day and never get bored of doing?
Shopping.
Yeah.
Never shopaholic. Go ahead.
In person, online, don't matter.
Oh Lord.
There we go. What's your favorite show or favorite book you like to read?
I'm not a reader. Show. Trying to think. Hold on. Favorite show. I say some reality TV. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Get up.
Atlanta.
Everybody's a fan.
That's the only one I watch.
I love that one.
There we go. I like it. And then, if you could go back and change anything in your life, what would it be?
I don't want to change nothing because then I don't know where I'd be.
Ashe. All right, and then give me your top 5 artists.
I want to write mine.
Let's see. Chris Brown, Janae Aiko, her. I gotta think. Hold on. Chris Brown. I'm trying to think. Drake.
Okay.
And there's one more.
Tell me, rude boy, let me get it up.
No, I'm not that big of a fan of Rihanna.
Oh!
I say Jasmine Sullivan.
Yo, straight said curve Rihanna. Let me put Jasmine Sullivan in here. Okay, that is awesome.
I'll listen to her, no shade, but I'm just not a big fan.
I love it. Miss Maya, you ready?
Hold on, I was taking notes to make sure I got my ass on.
She got to have her artist ready.
You know what I'm saying? Tighten up, here we go. So Maya, hot or cold?
Hot.
Red or blue?
Red.
If you could have any superpower, and I mean any superpower in the world, what would it be?
I would fly. I want to travel so I can get there fast.
There we go. Okay. If there's something you could do every day and never get bored of doing, what would it be?
Oh boy.
Tell her. Maya Confessions of a Shopaholic too.
Go ahead and admit it.
Listen, we're girls, okay? Listen, I should tell all my secrets now. I guess it would be shopping, but honestly, the first thing that came to my mind, and I was like, I sound fat, but I like to eat ice cream and but see, I can't live like that. So it's kind of like you said, if I had the choice, I would be able to eat whatever I want. But right now, I'm exercising, trying to get fit, so I can't really say that.
Ashe. Okay. The next question I wanted to ask you: what's your favorite piece of literature or your favorite show to watch?
For me, favorite piece of literature would be the Bible. I am a woman of faith, and I can read it all day, every day. I start my morning with a scripture.
What's your favorite scripture?
Now, I'm not good with the actual placements.
Just tell me the word, baby.
Okay. Let's see. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all other things will come unto thee. All right.
Oh my God. The Bible says if you be planted next to living water, then out of your belly living water should flow. Ashe unto you, my dear.
And favorite show would be Power. I can watch Power literally over and over again.
Let's go. They say
from
it's a
season
big
1 episode.
Yeah. I just come from the poet's spot. So let me stop playing with you. So tell me, top 5 artists.
Okay, I wrote them down. Okay. We got Beyonce. I'm a big Beyonce fan. I love Cardi B.
Let's go.
New artist, Her. I love her music.
Let's go.
Tasha Cobbs. She's a great gospel artist. And then from back in the day, I love Jagged Edge. Now, what y'all know about Jagged Edge?
First of all, no, the so-called players wouldn't tell you this.
Okay.
I'm gonna say what's on my heart. Let me stop my mouth. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. You have 2 great financially literate sisters who are in the life insurance business. And if you want to get any information on beauty dreadlocks too, what the hell, y'all do dreadlocks? Both of y'all do cosmetology.
I don't mind.
Tighten up.
I do.
You have 2 multifaceted queens right here who are in the Charm City area who are definitely blazing the path and setting a great example for their young ones coming up, for their family, and they're protecting their family by investing in something that is guaranteed to not only bring them wealth, but they can dispense the wealth at their need. So, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to getting financially literate, this is the first place you want to check in, and these are the first 2 sisters you want to check out if you have any questions about life insurance. So I want to leave you with that, family, and until next time, you know the drill. Don't be humble. Be great.